Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela, and we are the Castros.
We bring you the news.
And the views that make you think.
Sometimes we agree.
Sometimes we don't.
This is News and Views.
And here are today's headlines.
Severe tropical storm Krising and the enhanced southwest monsoon have left 5 dead and affected over 370,000 people in several regions.
3 towns in Batangas are now studying the possibility of declaring a state of calamity due to Krising and fears over the missing sabongeros.
The much-anticipated comeback fight of Manny Pacquiao against Mario Barrios ends in a majority draw.
2 outstanding graduates from Oxford University are joining us today to share their inspiring stories. Catch that later in the program.
First in the news, the combined impact of Tropical Storm Krising and the southwest monsoon has claimed 5 lives and disrupted the lives of over 370,000 people across multiple regions. Here's the report.
The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, or NDRRMC, reported that 3 individuals died and 3 others were injured due to the combined effects of severe tropical storm Krising and the southwest monsoon. Meanwhile, 3 people remain missing. The NDRRMC noted that casualty figures are still undergoing validation. As of Sunday, over 370,000 individuals have been affected across several regions, with 48,382 people evacuated. The NDRRMC also reported 410 damaged homes, 344 partially damaged, and 66 totally destroyed. Infrastructure losses are estimated at 11.5 million pesos. In Cagayan, heavy rains caused flooding in multiple areas, including the town of Santa Teresita. According to the Santa Teresita LGU, 3 rivers in the town overflowed: the Bacac, Dugueg-Gulasing, and Mission Rivers. In Bugay Town, 10 out of its 30 barangays were also flooded. The Bugay LGU ordered a forced harvest of fish from local fish cages, particularly malaga or rabbit fish, after an influx of fresh water into the river system disrupted salinity levels in the fish farms. The Bugay LGU has since appealed to the national government for help in dredging the local river, which they say contributes to flooding in the area.
Dami ng fresh water na bumaba dito sa ilog natin. Totally naging fresh yung ilog natin, mamamatay na. Nagsisimatayan na itong mga alaga natin. So force harvest, hanguin mo habang buhay para mabenta natin.
According to the Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office, more than 2,000 farmers and fishermen in Cagayan were affected. The total estimated agricultural damage now stands at 17.6 million pesos.
The southwest monsoon continues to bring widespread rain across the country. Zambales, Bataan, and Occidental Mindoro may experience heavy monsoon rains, while Metro Manila, Calabarzon, Ilocos Region, Benguet, Tarlac, Pampanga, and Bulacan are forecast to have occasional rains that may cause flooding and landslides. Severe tropical storm Wifa, formerly Krising, remains outside PAR. Though distant, it continues to enhance the southwest monsoon, worsening rain conditions over Luzon and Visayas. Meanwhile, a new low-pressure area was spotted 1,140 km east of southeastern Luzon and is being monitored for possible development in the coming days. Oh, we've seen naman yung yung damage. Wala pang confirm how many, pero yung how much damage it caused sa mga infrastructure
Saka
natin.
more than the wind daw, yung the rain. Hindi tumigil from Friday all the way, at least for some, until Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay, I was looking at the list. May nag-declare ng mga walang
No
pasok.
classes.
Nung una kasi nasa mga Calabarzon area, and ngayon meron na sa Metro Manila. You have Mandaluyong for public and private hanggang senior high, no? You have Pasig City naman, face-to-face classes for preschool to senior high for public and private, and Pateros. So 3 cities already in Metro Manila. More on the wind, more than the wind kasi yung ulan mismo. Nakikita mo, specifically Quezon City area, grabe, waist deep na in most areas.
And even according to the report, diba, even after outside na ng Philippine Air Responsibility itong si Krising, diba, yung international name is WIFA, ay nagkakaroon pa rin ng interaction siya dun sa habagat natin. That's why continuous pa rin yung rain
If you
natin.
look at the yung satellite video ng Pag-asa, ang itsura ng bagyong Krising, kikita mo siya kasi bilog, 'di ba? Tapos nakikita mo parang may kamay si Krising hinihila. Parang may hinihilang rain band na mahaba. Hinihila niya all the way. Kaya pala hindi tumigil ang ulan. Ang haba-haba ng
And it
niyang system.
looks like we're gonna be experiencing this for the next couple of weeks kasi ngayon pa lang nakikita nga natin based dun sa report na binasa ko kanina, may nakikita sila mga cloud cluster.
May
May
LPA.
possibility maging LPA siya.
Oo.
Pagpasok dito by Tuesday, tomorrow, if ever, no? So, but we'll check with Pag-asa kung ano yung forecast nila for the
kung
day.
bagyo, LPA, or no. Anyway, yan. For more updates on what we are talking about on the weather, we have Pag-asa weather specialist, Veronica Torres. Veronica, thank you for joining us.
Hello po at good morning din po sa inyo at sa ating mga taga-subaybay.
Alright, Veronica, pa-explain naman sa amin yung southwest monsoon, paano ito nakaka-apekto sa atin lahat. Kasi, of course, si Bagyong Krising pumasok over the weekend, but yung isang matindi rin, yung ulan, hindi tumigil.
Opo, tama po kayo. So, si Krising ay pumasok na ating PAR at ngayon nasa labas na hindi na gaano nakaka-apekto. And yung ngayon naman, mostly nakaka-apekto naman sa atin ay yung southwest monsoon o habagat. Maliban nga doon na buong bansa naapektuhan ng habagat. And then may low pressure area din tayong minomonitor sa east natin at may cloud clusters rin tayong minomonitor na nasa may malapit din sa area natin. So not ruled out na itong cloud clusters ay mabuo as low pressure area rin po sa mga susunod na araw or mga susunod na sandali.
Yes, para lang maintindihan natin yung tindi ng or yung volume ng ulan over the weekend, specifically Metro Manila, no? Ilan millimeters ang total na naranasan natin as compared to, kasi madami nagsasabi parang ondo yung nangyari, tuloy-tuloy, hindi daw tumigil.
So kung titingnan po natin, meron tayong mga synoptic station na nagre-record ng mga rainfall natin. So kung titingnan natin yung total rainfall kahapon sa may Metro Manila, so yung ito ay 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. So kahapon sa Quezon City umabot ng 31.6 yung ulan. So although naging maulan naman, pero yung peak ng pag-ulan ay nung around 8 p.m. to midnight, mga madaling araw. So hindi naman ganon pakarami, pero tuloy-tuloy din naman yung mga naranasan natin pag-ulan. So kung titingnan natin nung July 19, yung mga pag-ulan natin, ito yung may karamihan na mataas din yung nakuha nating rainfall, umabot sa 174.8 millimeters. So ito naman ay mataas talaga yung mga nakuha din nga natin ng mga pag-ulan, pero hindi pa rin kasing grame nung mga nakaraan na katulad ni Ondoy. Mas mataas po iyon.
Okay.
Right. Well, at least yesterday, mga around before lunch in our area, medyo naka-experience kami ng konting araw. Pero alam mong hilaw pa no? Pero I was wondering, Veronica, kung hanggang kailan ba magpe-persist itong monsoon rain sa ating bansa?
Nakikita natin na tuloy-tuloy pa nga rin yung epekto ng habagat o southwest monsoon sa atin. So yung monsoon rains mostly sa may western section ng central southern Luzon, particular na nga Zambales, Bataan, Occidental Mindoro, and then sa mga succeeding days, posibleng umabot pa ng Ilocos region. So nakikita natin sa ating extended weather outlook o sa 5-day weather outlook natin, kung sa Metro Manila patuloy pa rin na magiging maulan at the end of the day until around Friday, maulan pa rin. And then sa lugar ng Mindanao area, doon mas maganda yung panahon na inaasahan natin bandang southern part. Pero ngayon sa Mindanao hanggang sa may bandang Zamboanga Peninsula, Northern Mindanao, Caraga, maulan pa rin, pero southern part, mas magandang panahon.
Alright, itong nakikita nating cloud cluster na maaaring pumasok sa Philippine Air Responsibility, anong update dito?
Actually, yung cloud clusters is nasa loob naman ng PAR natin. And then, ito ay patuloy natin minomonitor at tinitingnan natin at nakikita natin na posible nga itong maging low pressure area sa mga susunod din na araw. So, once na maging low pressure area ito, titingnan natin yung assessment natin sa kanya kung medium ba, low chance na maging bagyo ito. Pero sa ngayon ay cloud clusters pa rin naman siya.
Okay. Sige, meron ba tayong mga gale warning ngayon, Veronica?
Sa ngayon wala naman nakataas na gale warning sa kahit anong dagat baybay ng ating bansa. Gayunpaman, ingat pa rin sa papalaot sa northern at western section ng Luzon dahil magiging katamtaman hanggang sa maalon ng karagatan. Meron din pala tayong nilalabas na weather advisory. Ito ay updated kaninang alas 5 ng umaga kung saan ngayong araw may mga malalakas tayong ulan na inaasahan na posibleng umabot ng 50 to 100 millimeters sa Metro Manila, Pangasinan, Zambales, Bataan, Cavite at sa may Occidental Mindoro.
Alright, maraming salamat sa iyong oras, Pag-asa Weather Specialist Veronica Torres. Now, 3 towns in Batangas are considering declaring a state of calamity due to the effects of severe tropical storm Christine and the ongoing search for the missing sabongeros in Taal Lake. Here's the report.
The fish being sold along Barangay Sampaloc in Talisay, Batangas are now literally just being swarmed by flies. Due to the scare over the missing cockfighting enthusiast, hardly anyone wants to eat fish caught from Taal Lake. But beyond the losses, the bigger issue is the deepening fear among small-time vendors. Many of them are now trapped in debt or resorting to informal lending known as 5-6.
Mas lalo pong magigipit ang pagtitinda kung kukuha ka pa ng 5-6. Dagdag pang iisipin mo. Paano kung walang benta, wala kang maihulog sa 5-6.
People like China are the reason why the local government of Talisay is considering declaring a state of calamity. On top of that, the fishers and vendors are still reeling from the Taal volcano eruption and tropical storm Christine. Even tourists were reportedly scared off when the search for the missing sabongeros began in Talisay.
Maliit lang ang bayan ng Talisay. Kung noong mga panahong iyon, isasabihin dito, dinadala, ay kakalat at kakalat yan dito.
In Agoncillo, also in Batangas, around 300 fishermen are affected by the missing sabongero issue and the series of storms. The local government there is also studying the possibility of declaring a state of calamity.
Umpisa pa nung Karina, marami na kaming naging damage. Tapos Christine, sobrang laki. Kaya parang yung hindi naayos ay ganun lang. Parang sabi ko nga kanina, parang it's a vicious cycle na aayusin namin, babagyo, eto na naman.
Over the weekend, the diving team resumed its search, this time using an underwater drone to scour a 300-meter by 300-meter area. Updates on any new findings are expected soon.
Ayun. So nakita nga natin ano yung damage nito. In Region 1 pa lang, the infrastructure damage was estimated at 11.5 million. At hindi pa kasama yung ibang areas dyan na tulad sa ibang mga regions, yung mga bridges, mga nasira, nabaha, nag-landslide. So yan, aantayin pa natin. But as of now, we have 5 dead due to bagyong Christine and 7 missing. No, and diyan nga sa Batangas ang kita natin even yung pagbenta ng mga isda doon nagkaroon na rin ng problema dahil nga din doon sa issue naman ng missing sabongero.
May Talisay area, Taal Lake. Oo, kasi of course yung fear nila na of course na-clear na to ng Bureau of Fisheries about the fish, their safety.
Kasi may fish pens. Actually, ewan ko kung nakita mo, nagkaroon ng video, parang a vlog, etong si Governor Vilma Santos. Kumakain siya nga nung tawilis, if I'm not mistaken. Kumakain siya. Parang sinasabi niya sa mga tao doon na, o hindi, pwede siyang kainin, ligtas naman siyang kainin.
Oo, kasi parang ano lang, di ba? Just bring it into a little context. Di ba yung it's just like saying ayaw mo na kumain ng saltwater fish dahil lumubog yung Titanic.
Oh,
parang ganun di ba? Ang dami rin naman siya, I'm sure, mga dead bodies sa ocean.
Exactly. Yung mga exactly naman ako. Yung ang tawag dito, yung bentahan ng mga isda, 400 before ngayon, parang bumabagsak na to 50 to 80 pesos. Ganun kababa.
Oo,
And
kasi
even yung tourist, of course, hindi na rin daw masyado pupunta. Yun yung kinababahala ng mga taga.
kasi ang problema pa kasi ang main income driver nitong mga ibang residents along the Taal Lake. Dati, you have people from Metro Manila going there specifically to buy tawilis. Kasi doon lang nahahanap yun halos eh. Tapos kinakalat sa Metro Manila kasi may mga specific restaurants na hinahanap para makain ng tawilis. Problema, wala nang bumibili.
Well, as for the search and retrieval operation,
I think it's halted, no? Halted ba
Oo,
muna?
kasi ang tawag dito, syempre may bagyo. Although sabi nga nila, yung pagputok last week, di ba, may nagkaroon ng phreatic eruption, hindi naman daw affected yung area kung saan sila nagkakaroon ng mga search and retrieval operation. Pero this time around, it's really hard for them. I think nag-start din ulit sila nung weekend, pero sa sobrang labo. At saka syempre delikado pa rin yung para sa mga divers. I think naka-stop siya. If
Tsaka
I'm not mistaken.
itong increasing kasi is combination of wind and heavy rain eh.
Yes.
So mahirap talaga for the divers to continue.
There
But
are a lot of roads here lang, dito lang sa Metro Manila at habagat pa yun, di ba, dumaan sa atin dito or yung nangyayari ngayon sa atin. And even ng Katipunan, nakita natin yung mga poste, nagtumbahan. Sa Cannon Road, yung malaking bato na even yung aso namatay dahil dun sa paggulong
in
ng
Boulder.
malaking bato.
Sa QC, 'di ba, sa mga iba-ibang barangay makikita mo waist deep. Sa Manila wala pa tayong masyadong except for yung mga perennial areas kung saan nagbabaha. But kasi sila Yorme and MMDA Chairman Artes, 'di ba? They opened yung
Floodgates, nagkaroon ng mga pumping station.
yung floodgate sa malapit sa may Dolomite Beach para tapos maglagay na lang sila ng trash trap para at least mag-flow out from yung mga ibang streets nila from recto ata yun.
Parang every year na lang kasi talaga pag nagkakaroon ng bagyo, yung pinag-uusapan natin talagang binabaha ang buong
Metro
Pilipinas.
Manila, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao.
Anyway, we'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching News and Views here on One News. Only 6 senators have yet to sign a resolution supporting Senator Francis Escudero as their Senate President. For details, let's bring in mobile journalist Merimon Reyes. Merimon.
Magandang umaga sa inyo. Isang linggo na lang, aasahan na natin, hindi lang State of the Nation address si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, kundi yung pagbubukas na mismo ng 20th Congress. Kaya naman ngayong araw na ito, hinihintay na lang natin si Senate President Cheese Escudero para sa unveiling ng legacy wall. Dito makikita natin yung images ng mga senador at senadora na tatayo at manunungkulan sa ilalim na ng 20th Congress. Mamaya rin naabangan din natin kung may ano bang mababanggit ni SP Cheese sa kanilang paghahanda at mga inaasahan sa SONA, lalong-lalo na sa pagbubukas nga ng Kongreso. Pero alam natin sa ngayon, yung ilan sa mga hindi pupunta nga Senator Bato de la Rosa, personal choice niya raw ito dahil meron daw siyang ilang mga kongresista na ayaw niya raw makipagplastikan at ilan din daw mga tao sa Malacanang ayaw niya naman daw na makipagplastikan pa. Pero bukod naman dito, yung iba pa sa inaasahan natin, base sa mga nakausap nating senador, sana raw matalakay ang energy, infrastructure, lalong-lalo na ang online gambling. Bukod pa dito, by next week, asahan na rin natin yung pagmomosyon nga ng Duterte Block o ni Senator Bato de la Rosa para raw magkaroon ng paglilinaw sa jurisdiction ng 20th Congress kung nais ba nilang magpatali o ipagpatuloy yung aksyon ng 19th Congress tungkol dito sa impeachment laban kay Vice President Sara Duterte. Pero paglilinaw niya, sa regular session ito ng Senado niya i-raise at hindi raw sa Senado bilang impeachment court. On the morning of July 28, doon din natin makikita na yung liderato, yung pagbobotohan na ng mga senador kung sino nga ba ang magiging Senate President. Pero base nga sa mga nakuha nating impormasyon, around 17 to 18 senators na ang pumirma dito sa resolusyon na sinusuportahan nga si SP Cheese para sa liderato. Balik sa inyo.
So, itong 18 na nabanggit, ito na yung official account as of the moment.
Ang nakausap natin dyan si Senator J.B. Herso. So yan yung parang alam niya pa so far nung araw na nakakausap natin siya. Pero pagdating daw kasi doon sa paglista ng pangalan, isa-isa raw kasi silang pumipirma, maliit lang daw ito. Kaya hindi raw nila matukoy kung sino-sino nga ba yung kasama nilang pumirma o kung ilan ba talaga yung total nito. Pero tulad nga ng mga nasabi ng mga senador, maaari pang magbago yung kanilang desisyon sa araw ng kanilang pagbobotohan ang liderato.
Pero officially ba, Merimon, may count na? Kasi parang 6 or 7 ata ang napaulat na officially na pumirma pa.
Tama, yun yung so far na nakuha natin sa
Okay.
ngayon. Pero kasi pagdating talaga sa mga pangalan nila or yung finality, kasi for example, sa Duterte Block, itong si Senadora Amy Marcos, hindi pa natin. Though sinasabi nila Senator Bongo na yung block nila, nagkaroon sila ng agreement na they will be voting as one, hindi pa nagkakaroon ng confirmation on the end of Senator Amy kung siya rin ba ay pumirma dito sa resolution. So yung around 17 to 18 senators supporting SP Cheese, maaari pa talagang magbago ito. Pwedeng pumirma sila, pwede rin on the day of the election for Senate presidency, magkaroon pa ulit ng pagbabago. Kasi bukod kay SP Cheese, yung isa pang lumulutang nga na pangalan na pwede nga makatunggalin niya dito ay Senator Tito Soto. Pero again, so far, majority of the senators mukhang nga nagiging bukang bibig nila si SP Cheese.
Actually, Merimon, it's good that you mentioned Senator Amy Marcos because we all know naman talaga na nakikita natin sa isang magiging katunggali sa Senate presidency si Senator Tito Soto. Pero may lumutang din yung pangalan ni Senator Amy Marcos if you can remember that weeks ago. And even siya, nagsabi siya na pwede, may interest siya. Meron ba ikaw naririnig na mga usapin na maaari ding lumitang, dark horse siya?
Nung nakausap natin si Senator Bato, ang nasabi sa atin, pagkakunwari umurong si SP Cheese o kaya naman ay, for example, nagkaroon ng pagbabago dito sa kanilang majority na pagsuporta kay SP, posible rin namang gagaling sa Duterte Block yung kanilang ipopronta para doon sa liderato. Though walang nabanggit na pangalan, pero kasama na nga doon kasi sa Duterte Block, ito nga si Senadora Amy Marcos. Pero sa mga lumipas din kasi na linggo, natanggal na sa usapan si Senadora Amy. So it's either SP Cheese or Senator Tito Soto. Pero nasabi ni Senator Bato, pagka nawala sa usapan si SP Cheese, magmumula raw sa Duterte Block yung kanilang ilalakad.
Meron kang update din dun sa naging isa pang malaking usapin ngayon, si Senator Kiko Pangilinan at Senator Bam Aquino na maugong na sasali nga daw sa majority block. Nag-usap na ba ulit sila nila Senator Risa Ontiveros?
So far doon sa social media post ni Senadora Kiko Pangilinan, tuloy-tuloy pa rin daw ang usapan. At kung ano man daw yung magiging desisyon, sinabi rin ito ni Senadora Risa, malalaman natin by July 28 talaga or by July 29 kung saan ma-finalize na yung Senate alignment. Pero ang nasabi naman dito nila Senator Kiko Pangilinan, lahat naman daw na nagiging desisyon nila mabusisi nilang pag-uusapan. At ang nasabi din ni Senadora Risa dito, kung sakali man na hindi mapunta sa minority itong si Senator Bam at si Senator Kiko, patuloy naman daw siyang maninindigan sa kanyang mga prinsipyo at hindi naman daw nga ibig sabihin na magkakaroon ng paghihiwalay, mawawala na raw yung kanilang mga ipinaglalaban.
And lastly, Marymon, was wondering kung naisama rin sa agenda dyan ngayon sa magiging press con sa Senate, yung usapin ng kanilang new building. Hanggang ngayon, hindi pa yan natatapos. Sila ba ililipat na? Di ba yung budget hanggang ngayon pinag-uusapan yan?
Totoo, Angela. Yun yung inaasahan natin ngayon na matanong. Kasi even yung ilang mga senador na nakausap natin, yun din yung question nila kung ano na nga raw ba yung updates patungkol doon sa bagong Senate building. So, more likely, ang alam kasi natin, either around this year or by next year, posible na yung paglilipat natin mula dito sa Pasay, papunta na doon sa bagong building. Pero wala pa tayong impormasyon na dyan at susubukin natin makakuha ng panayam mamaya kay SP Cheese.
Alright, maraming salamat sa iyong oras, mobile journalist Marymon Reyes.
All right, President Marcos is raising concerns over the rising threat of online gambling, warning that it's tearing Filipino families apart. Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, meanwhile, said the government is still reviewing whether to impose a total ban on all forms of online gambling. Here's the report.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is sounding the alarm on the dangers of online gambling, calling it a growing threat to Filipino families. In his latest vlog, the president warned that irresponsible online gambling, now more accessible through modern technology, is ruining lives and breaking families apart.
Ang isa pang pinadali ng digitalization ay ang pagsusugal. Maraming pamilya na nasisira dito, lalo na kung hindi responsable ang pagkakagamit.
He stressed that digitalization should serve the people by enhancing education, healthcare, and governance, not by fueling addiction, online scams, and misinformation.
Ang teknolohiya ay nandito para padaliin ang ating buhay, para ilihis ang pamahalaan sa korupsyon, para maging mabilis ang proseso, para mapaganda ang edukasyon, ang healthcare at ang kalakalan. Higit sa lahat para magtaguyod at magbuklod ng pamilyang Pilipino.
Meanwhile, Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin said the government is still reviewing the broader implications of banning all forms of online gambling. Several senators including Sherwin Gatchalian, Juan Miguel Zubiri, Risa Ontiveros, Alan Peter Cayetano, and Pia Cayetano are calling for a total ban on online gambling. Bersamin also noted that President Marcos has been hands-on in preparing for his upcoming State of the Nation address. He's set to deliver his fourth SONA on July 28th at the Batasan Pambansa.
Yan talaga abangan natin sa kanyang third SONA,
Third SONA.
sa Lunes.
Third or fourth?
Third na ata to, sa Lunes, July 28. At kung sasabihin niya ba, ay total ban na rin siya. Kasi in-announce siya before yung total ban ng Pogo. Ngayon, kasi this is a different, sabi nila.
Pero parang
Pero online gambling pa rin naman.
Parang they're gearing, the way I see it, they're gearing towards the total ban. Kasi may mga tutol dyan. Like for example, sinasabi nila, when you don't total ban, and you keep them, when you let them operate, regulation is very difficult. Meron doon lalabas yung mga as a regulation, doon lalabas daw yung mga illegal.
Oo daw, baka daw dumami yung mga fly-by-night.
Actually, both scenarios,
Pero,
total ban or regulation, may dadami talaga ng fly-by-night.
Dapat ayusin nila yung implementation yan if ever, 'di ba, yung mga pulis na dapat huhuli doon sa mga hindi sumusunod sa batas para hindi na lang sila yung dahilan nila ay sige i-regulate na lang natin kasi baka mamaya pag tinutal ban natin maraming yung mga susulpot ng mga illegal. Di 'di ba? Ayusin natin yung enforcement, correct. Yung law enforcement kaysa matakot tayo na dadami yung illegal pag di natin ni-regulate. But also si Senator Win Gatchalian is planning to draft a new law. Yung version niya. I think to also yung mga penalize yung mga endorsers, no, yung mga influencers na maaring mag-endorse nga ng mga online gambling. So I think few weeks ago we were also talking about this na may mga utos na natanggalin na yung mga mga signages, yung mga posters, yung mga billboards sa kalsada na may nagpo-promote ng online gambling. Kasi talagang nakita natin ngayon na sobrang naglawak na nung effect nito dahil unlike nga daw dun sa mga casino na you have to get up, 'di ba, magbihes kasi 'di ba pwedeng basta-basta suot mo doon para pumunta doon sa casino magsugal. Ngayon kahit nakahiga ka, kahit 20 pesos yung ipangsugal mo, pwede kang makasali, 'di ba? So, yun yung nakikita nilang naging problema
kasi yung pay-in, so accessible yung pay-in sa sugal ngayon sa online. Whereas if you have to go to the casino to earn a lot, may mga mababang pay-in din, but usually 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, dito 50 pesos. Pwede ka na lumaban eh. So nagiging addiction.
So iba-iba yung yung version sa mga law, 'di ba, sa Senate at sa Congress. We'll see kung paano nila i-consolidate dito kasi meron pa yung kila Akbayan party list, kila Representative Chaldokno. Sa kanila naman regulation, yung to make sure na 21 years old yung makakapag-online gambling, etc. Tapos si Congressman Abante, which we interviewed him
sa total ban siya
a few weeks ago here, total ban siya. So iba-iba, no? Si Senator Mig Zubiri sa Senate naman, on the other hand, total ban din.
Senator Migs is one of the first who spoke out na for a total ban.
Pero kasi siyempre yung ibang mga gusto nila na i-regulate lang is sayang naman daw yung kikitain. Pero siyempre yung pinag-uusapan dito, yung kikitain ba dito ay commensurate or tama ba na
sa values na nasisira?
Implication na dala nitong online gambling.
Yung cost for value. Kumbaga, is it worth it? Nasisirain mo yung pamilya because you need the taxes or you need the funds.
Right. So mahababang usapin ito. We'll see kung ito ay pag-uusapan sa SONA ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos sa Lunes. Meanwhile, Rustan's matriarch Nena Vargas Tantoko has spoken out on the death of her son Paulo Tantoko, urging the public not to politicize the tragedy. In a social media comment, Tantoko clarified her son was with his wife, Dina, a social secretary to First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos when he died. She emphasized that the First Lady had no involvement. Tantoko appealed for compassion and patience as they await full findings and condemned efforts to use her son's death for political agendas.
Manny Pacquiao's return to the ring ended in a majority draw against Mario Barrios in their WBC welterweight title bout in Las Vegas. After 12 rounds, 2 judges scored the fight even, while one leaned in favor of Barrios. Pacquiao 46 defied expectations by showing flashes of his old brilliance, darting in and out with speed and firing sharp combinations. Barrios, the younger and taller fighter, used his reach to his advantage.
San Miguel star Junmar Fajardo extended his dominance in the All-Filipino Conference, securing his 12th PBA Best Player of the Conference award. Fajardo received the honor before Game 4 of the PBA Season 49 Philippine Cup Finals at the Mall of Asia Arena on Sunday. The 35-year-old center edged out teammate CJ Perez and Lex Robert Pollock, Magnolia's Javier Lucero, and Phoenix Jason Perkins for the prestigious award. Despite dealing with injuries, the 6'10" big man still posted strong numbers, averaging 16.0 points, a league-best 13.95 rebounds, 3.2 assists, and 1.1 blocks during San Miguel's grueling semi-final series against Ginebra. Congratulations!
Actually, yung kay Pacquiao, minamonitor ko yung yesterday, yung mga scorecard ng iba't ibang analysts from iba-ibang sports agencies. All of them had Pacquiao at least taking 9 out of the 12 rounds. Although
Kaya nga sabi niya, I thought I won, sabi niya.
Yung clear dominance wasn't there, but when you're talking about who deserved it more, because based sa style, it was Pacquiao who was dictating kasi the tempo of the match. Parang
mabilis pa rin siya
ang lumalabas kasi daw kay Barrios, parang namangha daw siya sa presence.
Kulang na lang daw magmano sa sobrang parang
pero ang
niya
condition
o respeto.
ni Pacquiao, ang ganda ng condition niya. Anyway,
prior to this game, di ba, a lot of people are saying, naku, matanda na kasi si Pacquiao, let's not expect too much.
But a lot of the analysts kasi had Pacquiao giving a good match. Kasi Barrios is 30 years old. He's also taller by 3 or 4 inches. So, if you look at the scorecards, usually naman, hindi mo naman pwedeng sabihin, ay, mga analyst lang naman yan. Oo, ang problema, almost majority of them thought Pacquiao won. And if you look at the scorecard ng judges, ang layo sa scoring nila, sa scoring ng analyst. So, parang hindi nila nakita. Di ba?
Rematch na lang daw.
Ika nga, gano'n naman talaga. Yung sports nasa kamay ng mga judges dito sa boxing. Kaya sabi nila kung ayaw mo ilagay yung fate mo sa kamay ng judges, patulugin mo yung kalaban.
Yun na yun, 'di ba? Pero one thing is for sure, sabi nga daw nila, they're still proud that Manny fought very well.
Oo naman.
At ito yung version of Manny Pacquiao that they very like. Much like. Huwag na daw yung pagiging politiko niya. Oo. Mabuhay ka, Manny.
Mabuhay, Manny. Balato. Don't go away because we're not done yet. Please stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching News and Views here on the One News. From the Philippines to the halls of Oxford, this law graduate with high honors is proving that determination knows no borders. Her journey is inspiring a new generation of Filipinos to believe that we can achieve greatness no matter where we come from. Joining us today to share her story is Ana Jimenez. Also with us is Ayla Campbell. Is that right? I pronounced it right? Ayla Campbell, with first-class honors in history. Wow, from the same university. Good morning and welcome to our program.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. What does it feel like to graduate? I mean, you are the first Filipina to graduate with honors.
I don't know
Oxford.
how this was even found out, but it means a lot to me personally to be the first Filipina. I think my dad has always reminded me every time I went through a new life experience, to always remember my family at home.
Yeah.
He always says the number one thing to remember is once you achieve stuff to give back and always talk to your family about it and continue to celebrate with family. So it means a lot to be the first law graduate from Oxford.
Yeah, but before we move on with the story, you're best friends.
Yes.
Right?
From the start of university.
Tell us your story.
Yeah, you were talking about it, so go ahead, Ayla.
So I arrived on the first day, obviously very scared, 18, don't know what university, don't know what to expect, and I open the door to the accommodation and I see Anna, and we look at each other, and from then on, we've been joined at the hip, lunch together every day, study together every day, and now we're here.
Yeah, people don't know one without the other.
Yeah.
So you're taking up, what are you taking up right now?
She graduated.
Yeah, so I graduated.
History.
I'm about to start. I graduated history, and now I'm doing a politics masters in Paris.
Oh, okay.
So on to
Paris?
yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
empowered women. I'm so honored to be with them. But what were some of the biggest challenges you faced during your studies there in the UK? We all know it's not rainbows and sunshines, right? Can you share us with?
I think a lot of people at Oxford suffer from imposter syndrome. Especially also when I joined, I didn't know many people from my school, and also a lot of Filipinos, I didn't know any. And so you're surrounded by people without really empathizing with them or them understanding exactly what you've gone through or your own story. And it feels like, oh, I don't know whether I belong here compared to someone else. But I think the best thing about me and Ayla is we just became best friends.
Yeah.
So
we always had each other.
Yeah, whenever one of us was sad or felt like we didn't belong or we had to work harder, we had
each other.
Just across the next room. Yeah.
Was there a time any of you guys just wanted to quit,
I think so, definitely.
Oh, both of you, huh?
Yeah, we've come to each other and been like, I can't do this anymore. But I think it was nice to know that everyone in Oxford were all in the same boat, and it's a community, it's a college system, it's a community. So no matter what, I could always go to Anna, I could always go to my college community, and everyone would say, "You're going to be fine. You're going to be all right."
Right. It
Carry on
happens.
pushing.
It
Yeah.
happens.
You're human.
Yeah, right. But I was wondering, you were born here, but you were raised in
the UK.
In the UK, so you're familiar with what's happening here in the Philippines, even though, right?
Yeah.
So my question would be, were there a particular case or concept during your studies that somehow mirrored the injustice here in the Philippines?
Yeah, actually, my specific area of law that I'm interested in is public international law.
Interesting.
So I have a really wide interest in a lot of maritime laws, things to do with shipping, etc. Obviously, the breadth of what I study then encompasses a lot of crisis in Asia, America, including partially some issues to do with the Philippines. Like, my dream is to practice in front of the ICJ, represent states, and things like that. So I think the fact that I have an upbringing and a family from another country has informed my understanding of international law, and my ability to sort of understand that there's differences and nuances in legal systems across the world, especially in the Philippines as well.
Right.
So I guess you were on top of the West Philippine Sea issue.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's not obviously concentrated on Filipino issues, my studies, but even in my exams, I could bring the Philippines up as a case study or an example, because I'd have the sort of individual knowledge that wouldn't be taught in my degree.
But I'd like to ask, moving forward, do you guys plan to share the same firm eventually in the future?
That's hard. I mean, if only.
Yeah, I know. I mean, our dream, we want to live together. Yeah. We planned this already.
We look up flats every day.
Yeah.
But I think because you're doing international law and I plan on doing something in the
totally
political...
different.
Yeah, but I plan on doing something in the political realm, so maybe our paths can
Yeah,
converge.
exactly.
You know, they always
not?
tend on doing that.
Well, it's an era of collaboration.
Yeah,
We'll see what
exactly.
happens in the future, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of
What
time.
made you guys choose the paths you're talking? I mean, there's so much to choose from.
Yeah.
Easier paths.
I don't know. I think
I think I can speak for both of us to say
Yeah.
that we're perfectionists
Yeah.
and we're very ambitious. And I think once we saw that goal of, you know, Oxford,
Yeah.
let's do that. That's kind of a golden route that we can take. We set our eyes on it, and I think we're the same in that light. That
Yeah.
we just would push
Yeah.
until we.
And also, I guess at school in the UK, it's kind of the ultimate goal for university for two girls who were good at academics and who
Chatty,
worked really hard.
like a debate.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's immediately why I thought that that's where I want to apply. But I never knew for sure that it would happen.
But in relation to what you guys see, what's happening around the world now in terms of social issues, injustices, what would you like to change eventually? I mean, a lot of lawyers out there who have aged up finally have had their advocacies. What would you guys see yourselves doing as an advocacy?
I mean, personally, I think that in international law, one of the biggest issues is that states haven't all developed or grown equally. And so, despite the fact that you have principles like sovereign equality and states should all be treated equally, really, you end up getting countries like the United States, the United Kingdom, whose voices are going to shine much louder than somewhere like the Philippines. So I think just having advocates who are at the same level as someone who's practicing for the States or representing the United States, and having an advocate for a smaller state that knows everything there is about international law, so that these weaker countries aren't left sort of behind and unable to say their opinion or say their voices on that kind of fora.
Well, what about you, Isla?
Well, I think coming from a background, entering politics and coming from a background of history, I think that's really important because, you know, you can't go into the future without looking at the past. And I think it's so important to know what's occurred to then move forward and have a kind of ready knowledge of what's worked and what hasn't and how we can collaborate and how collaboration has succeeded or failed in the past. And I think I'm specifically looking at diplomacy and looking at, I will hopefully be studying how we can successfully collaborate as different countries and different states, or you know, the business world and the UN and different forms of international organizations. So I think, you know, both of those things.
Interesting what you guys are talking about. You're talking about all countries should be, eventually in a perfect scenario, all of them should be looked at equally with equal voices. But I'd like to ask you, I think the US is going in a different direction of isolating themselves from the world. So what are your take on that issue? Do you agree that they need to recover? That's what the Republicans are saying. They need to recover. So therefore, let's isolate ourselves first from the world, then we go back to diplomacy.
I mean, I think it's difficult. I think a lot of people within a state, especially one like the US, which has such sort of civic pride, want to sort of focus on their own issues before looking out into how they interact with other states in the world. And I think there's obviously merit in wanting your own state and feeling a certain attachment to your state and wanting it to improve. But at the same time, they should be cognizant, I think, that no one exists in a bubble, no state does.
Yes.
And so, at the same time, I'm sure that collaboration is also something that can happen at the same time as focusing on internal issues.
Would you like to add?
Yeah, from a political standpoint. By the way, are you going to be lobbying in the future?
I mean, who knows?
It could be a perfect combination. Go ahead,
Well, I think, again, from my historian standpoint, I think the world has always been a better place, where specifically the US, it knows I'm a 20th century historian, so when there's been that power, it's a powerful force and it has the power to make such positive change.
Yeah.
And I hope, I mean, from our standpoint, just as two students, we were kind of reticent to look at the US as an option for our postgraduate studies now. And that's just like a small example of kind of a sad thing that's happened that, you know, could be could be changed if there was a more open atmosphere.
Right, right. Now, well, we are in completely awe with what you guys have achieved,
Truly,
and you are going to be achieving in the future. What advice can you give to women like you who would want to study in top universities as well, or dreaming to to study as well?
I would say, as a girl, especially if you're in a class, maybe if you feel like you're a bit shy, or if you're in a class with all boys, never be afraid to put your hand up and never be afraid to express your opinion and push through and persevere, even if you think, maybe I'm not good enough, because that will come across so many times in your life, the thought, maybe I'm not good enough. You are, and you can do it.
Yeah, and I'd say, I think it's said a lot by our tutors, women especially tend to second guess everything they say before, as opposed to being confident and not being afraid of being incorrect, because everyone is always incorrect every so often. So I think just being bold and saying things that may not be right or correct the first time will always set you in good stead and let your ideas develop without feeling inhibited.
I also think just work hard, because my mum always used to tell me this one phrase that I've kept really close throughout my university experience, that is, lucky people work hard.
Yeah, exactly. And be loud and...
But before, I'd like to ask, of course, Oxford, right? But there are other law schools out there that are equally great. But what makes Oxford stand out from, you think, others that suits what you need in life?
I think, so the system of teaching at Oxford is quite unique. It's the tutorial system. So instead of classes and lectures, you have one-on-one or two-on-one conversations with a professor, who obviously, one part of Oxford is that they're going to be a professor who's at the top of their field, and you get an opportunity where they sit there with you for an hour and give you the chance to say your own ideas and your own thoughts.
So it's actual mentoring.
Yes, and you have to defend your ideas to this really intelligent academic who's practiced for 30 years. And so it's really unique in that it's one-on-one or two-on-one, and you don't really get that elsewhere.
And sometimes you've had a week to write an essay, you don't really know what you're talking about, and you have to go into the meeting and go, I know what I'm talking about. So it kind of teaches you how to waffle.
But that's how you learn.
Yeah, exactly.
Along the way. But we'll be keeping an eye on both of you.
Oh, definitely.
Thank you.
Especially in the international scene. We're very excited for the both of you. But, thank you so much for joining us today. We are very proud of you guys, Ana Jimenez and Ayla Campbell, for sharing your stories with us.
Thank you.
Have you explored the Philippines? Did you bring her?
I brought her to El Nido. She has to go to more places.
Fantastic.
What about Filipino food?
Yes. Oh.
What's your favorite?
Halo, halo.
It's cold weather.
I thought you were going to say balut.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, don't go away because we're not done yet. Please stay with us.
Welcome back. You're still watching News and Views here on One News. Madalas nating naririnig na lahat ng sobra ay masama at totoo rin daw yan sa pag-inom ng vitamin C. Pwede itong magdulot ng sakit sa bato. Ayon po yan sa espesyalista. Para bigyan ng mukha balita, Mobile Journal, JF Rivera.
Nakakatulong ang vitamin C para lumakas ang resistensya. Pero hinay-hinay lang sa pag-inom na ito dahil meron din niyang masamang epekto kapag sumobra.
May iba-ibang panahon. Tapos, stress pa sa work. Kaya para hindi magkasakit, ang freelancer na si Abby, araw-araw kung uminom ng vitamin C.
May times na inaabot ako ng madaling araw sa work, napupuyat ako. Kailangan ko talaga siyang i-take lagi para naman may protection pa rin ako. Lalo na sa panahon ngayon na maulan, kailangan syempre malakas yung resistensya ko para di ako magkasakit agad.
Ayon sa lifestyle medicine specialist na si Dr. Dex Macalintal, hindi makakailang malaki ang tulong ng vitamin C na isa ring antioxidant.
Isa sa mga magagandang vitamins para makatulong sa atin to fight off inflammation. Sumusuporta ito sa ating immune system, sumusuporta din ito sa pag-absorb ng ilang mga nutrients. Halimbawa, yung iron, maaari lamang makatulong ang vitamin C sa pagsusuporta ng immune system para hindi lumala yung iyong simple cold or common cold.
Mayaman man sa mga benepisyo, hinay-hinay pa rin sa pag-inom nito. May ilang pag-aaral kasi ang nagsasabi na ang labis na pag-inom ng vitamin C maaari namang magdulot ng bato sa ating kidney.
Kasi yung excess, yung sobra-sobrang vitamin C, pwedeng mag-cause ng tinatawag na urinary oxalate excretion. Minsan, nako-convert yung sobra-sobrang vitamin C to oxalates. At ito na-excrete yan sa urine o nalalabas sa urine. So may mga pag-aaral na ganyan. Kaya kinakailangan regulated lamang ito.
Dagdag pa ni Doc, bukod sa kidney stones, may mga di magandang epekto pa ito sa ating katawan, lalo na kung masobrahan ka nito.
Sometimes kasi medyo acidic ang vitamin C. So kung ang pasyente ay mayroong yung tinatawag natin na GERD or yung acid-related disease, pwede sila makaramdam ng mga nausea, vomiting pa rin, heartburn, even at saka kasama din dyan yung mga stomach cramps natin, pati yung pag-bloat.
Kaya ang paalala ni Doc, kung hindi naman kinakailangan, sa pagkain na lang humanap ng vitamin C.
Kung kayo po ay gustong mag-take ng mga supplement na vitamin C, no problem naman po, but do not overdose. And you may not even need to buy these supplements anymore. So kaya nga, kailangan natin mas maraming gulay, mas maraming prutas, and natural sources are the best. Food first before your pills.
Sa lahat ng bagay, moderation is the key. Iisa lang ang buhay natin, kaya dapat natin itong pangalagaan. Mobile Journal, JF Rivera po, hatid ang mukha ng balita.
Quote.
Okay, for the code, since we had
Women's Day.
empowered women today, every woman's success should be an inspiration to another. We're strongest when we cheer each other on. This quote is from Serena Williams.
Alright, and that wraps up today's episode of News and Views.
Join us again tomorrow. Angela Lagunsad Castro.
Mangelo Castro III, we are One News.
All sides, all the time.